Let's talk about Selina Scott. Some of the younger viewers and listeners probably don't even know who she is, but trust me, she was a very, very big noise in the 1980s, I think it was. She used to present news at 10 and went on to be one of the big breakfast presenters here. Very, very big name. She kind of turned her back on the showbiz scene. I think she runs some kind of farm up in Yorkshire or something now. But anyway, she came down to London for a shopping trip and came out of Waterstones bookstore on a sunny, crowded afternoon, packed out, where she found herself felt that she was being sort of surrounded by a group of young people who sort of jostled her around a bit, and she thought they were trying to steal her bag, so she grabbed onto it hard. She ended up falling down, They all laughed and went off. She felt humiliated, but sort of thought, well, thank God I held onto my bag. And then, of course, she looked down, they'd unzipped it, they'd taken her purse, all her credit cards, her driving licence, home address, etc. She called the police and they said, oh, yeah, this happens all the time, yeah. That's a snapshot of London right now. You know, these kind of gangs operating with impunity, shoplifting going on at an almost generic level, just constant, no punishments, no comeback on anyone, homeless people everywhere, lawlessness everywhere, knife crime everywhere. Welcome to Sadiq Khan's London 2025. What did you make of it when you were back here last week, Isabel?
Well, the truth is, much of it was absolutely lovely. You know, London is still a gorgeous city at its best. And I walked down the Mall and the Union Jacks were flying and the blue sky and all the lovely trees and flowers. And I thought, this is great. And then I walked down the Strand. And I think I want to talk in more detail on another show about the scale of homelessness on the Strand. There's a whole topic in that. But let me just highlight one thing. You know, I had a bit of time to fill in between meetings and looking for shops to go into. And there aren't many sort of clothes shops, or mostly it's food retailers on the Strand and restaurants and stuff. I was shocked to see on the windows, on the door of the women's clothing shop Jigsaw's, not somewhere I would normally go. But anyway, even if I'd wanted to go in there, the door was locked. And there was a notice on there saying that they were operating what they call a locked door policy. Well, I knocked on the door and had a bit of a chat with the staff there, and they say that they have to do that for their safety and because of the scale of shoplifting. Now, this isn't Tiffany's or a diamond, Boodle, some diamond jewelry outlet, nor is it Greg's the baker, where you might imagine homeless people would go to steal a sandwich. It is a middle market women's clothing retailer. Why do they need to be letting people in by unlocking the door and having to let them out again by unlocking the door? And what do you think that is doing to business? I found it very weird and uncomfortable to have to knock on the door to go and browse a few skirts on the rails and then ask to be let out again. I mean, the impact on business will be very, very significant. And I think that tells you a lot about the state of central London right now.
Indeed. Selina Scott thought they'd stabbed her in the back of the neck, but back of the leg, but clearly they'd just obviously poked her with something. It turned out not to be a stab wound, but she sort of staggered in shock and trauma into Fortnum and Mason's, where she called the police. And the police just sort of said, oh, well, you know, that's London for you, happening all the... But crimes like that, by the way, these kind of street steaming muggings are happening 23%, nearly they're a quarter up on last year, 25% up on last year. And the whole technique, if you read Selina's piece, you can see what they did. They make it seem like a joke. Hello, lady. And she thinks, oh, I just grabbed my bag here, make sure that, but they make her fall over. She thinks she's still got her bag. When she looks, they've taken. And she said they sort of skipped off into the distance, laughing and screaming as if they'd just had a bit of a joke. Now, this is happening all the time. Plus, as you say, the shoplifting scourge is so endemic now, such a problem, that more and more shops have just locked themselves. I mean, even shops like Tesco's now, you go in there, there's no products because they're all behind sort of iron doors, so you can't get anything. I mean, so our approach to this increasing kind of cacophony of crime is to just say, well, lock the doors, be careful. We don't do anything about actually trying to catch these people who do it, make it a hostile environment for these kids, for these shoplifters. We don't seem to take any preventative measures. We just carry on, and when you call the police and say, I've just been robbed in Piccadilly, they basically go, well, what can you expect? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, this is on an industrial scale now. Unless you really hit it hard, people just think they can do it with impunity. My own researcher a couple of weeks ago was mugged for his iPhone, and over the weekend got some alerts from the tracking system on the phone. That phone is already in China.
China?
You can see exactly where it is, right down to a warehouse address in China. And to add insult to injury, the thieves are busy messaging him, trying to trick him into providing the passcodes to unlock the phone so that they can sell it on to the black market. He's not stupid enough to fall for that one. But it just goes to show what an operation this is. These phones are being stolen and taken overseas and sold. It's a proper organised racket.
And meanwhile, Sadiq Khan is devoting all his time to making sure the air is clean in central London, which apparently isn't all that successful, has never been much of a cause of death. There's only one case of potential air pollution causing someone's death, which was some 8-year-old kid who lived right by the A2, right by a very busy road. But even that is dubious. There's no evidence that anyone has ever been killed or harmed by alleged poisonous air in London, and yet we have a mayor who prioritises that over people being stabbed, people being killed, people being raped on the streets, rampant crime, rampant shoplifting, rampant mugging of people on busy streets. This guy, this mayor, I mean, he's just a joke, isn't he?
Well, Kev, I don't think he listens to talk, because I bumped into him last week and he was extraordinarily friendly and nice to me. And I thought, well, I don't think you listen to Kev and I, because we're constantly slating you for the sorry state of London. Either that or you put on a great show and you've got lovely manners. I'm not sure which it is. But anyway, he is listening. I hope he gets the message.